Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6.
Privacy breach to tell you about. We learned today that a number of Nova Scotia Health employees were looking at the health records of people associated with the 2020 mass shooting in the province. As our Jonathan McGinnis reports, an investigation found some snooping went back years.
The privacy breaches were found after Nova Scotia Health conducted an internal audit of records related to anyone involved in Nova Scotia's mass shooting in April of 2020.
They found out that some staff had been looking when they shouldn't have, and then the investigation ballooned quite a bit because it turned out that some of the people who were looking at records when they weren't supposed to be were doing it for a long time and with a lot of other people.
Nova Scotia Health turned that information over to the province's Information and Privacy Commissioner. In a statement to CTV, the health authority says, "We apologize to each impacted patient. This breach added further unnecessary harm to the families of those who lost loved ones in April of 2020. We deeply regret that this breach took place." In total, more than 1,200 breaches were discovered. 8 NSH employees were involved. 270 people in total had their files compromised. Some were involved in the mass casualty event, some not.
People were looking up friends, colleagues, neighbors, that kind of thing.
Looking at someone's records is an offense under the Personal Health Information Act, punishable by a fine of up to $10,000 or 6 months in jail, or both. But
in Nova Scotia, you have to do it within 12 months, and that's in 12 months of the time of the offense, not the time you find it.
Cybersecurity expert Scott Beck says there are ways to limit an employee's access to medical records.
If you're a secretary, you may need to know somebody's name to book an appointment, but you don't need to know all their health records and all the situations that they've gone through.
Ralph says there was no evidence to suggest the information was used for anything nefarious. Everyone whose files were compromised was notified. Of the 8 employees involved, some were suspended, others lost their jobs. The Privacy Commissioner has provided a list of 12 recommendations to Nova Scotia Health. Well, Todd, Nova Scotia Health has 30 days to decide if they're going to follow the Privacy Commissioner's recommendations. 6 NSH employees were also caught looking through patient files back in 2018. Todd.
Thank you for that, John. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis in Halifax for us this evening.